So, like we talked about today, culture makes up who you are. The choices that you make are highly impacted by your culture. So, for me, the first thing is people always want to know what ethnicity I am. I have dark hair, I tan pretty well, I've got these eyes that don't open like a European's eyes would. And so, people are always questioning me, what are you? Are you Latino? And I say, no, I'm not. As far as I know, my ancestors come from mostly Western Europe. They look German, Irish. On my mom's side, she has, tan skin and dark hair just like me, so that's where I got it from. Her grandfather, so my great-grandfather, is from the Middle East, and I'm pretty sure that's where I got a lot of my features. And so I inherited those. My brothers, they look more European. They're a little bit paler, and they got brown hair instead of black hair. As far as race goes, I identify as white. Religion also plays a major role in our culture and through the lens in which we see the world. I am no longer religious. I don't go to church, I don't practice, I don't worship, but I did grow up in a Northern Baptist church. My parents still go to that same church. It's like Southern Baptist, only without the singing and the dancing and the fun. In reality, Northern Baptist is very stern, very strict, and I think that has a lot to do with why I'm not religious today. But it did play a large role in my upbringing, taught me hard work and dedication, memorized a lot of things, going to church, and created a culture and a family within that church that I'm still in touch with today. Economic class or socioeconomic status has a lot to do with where we come from and how we view the world. My upbringing definitely has painted a picture, or it's created my lens through which I see the world. My family growing up, what I would call us lower middle class, in the sense that we were not poor. I never had to go without. But at the same time, we didn't have money to go on big fancy trips like a lot of my friends did. My college, I paid for myself. We didn't live in a big fancy house. We had enough, and that was good enough. Both of my parents are working class. My dad works in a factory, and my mom works for the state, doing secretarial work and those sort of things. So a lot like maybe some of you can identify that with, where they're bringing home paychecks and they can pay the bills, and they do work really hard and they work overtime to make sure that you get taken care of. Same thing with my parents, and I think that's where my workman's mentality comes from, and this idea that I got to work for things. Geography is another major component of our culture, the lens that we see the world through. For me, I'm from Iowa, born and raised. I'm from Ames, Iowa originally. Grew up there, went to high school there, graduated, and then went off to UNI, where I got to meet a different group of people. But both college towns, and both influenced me a lot, in the sense that I prioritize education. I think it has a lot to do with why I have the chosen profession that I do have, because I was surrounded by people and a whole town that was committed to education. And so I felt like I wanted to give that to other people. So I'm a proud Iowan, but not the proud Iowan, that's kind of rural. I'm from the city. Ames feels mostly like a suburb, but it is a college town, so it has a different feel to it. Education, like I said, is a priority because of that. Also, living in Iowa my whole life, I tend to have that Iowan mentality that, I'm not one of those people who wanted to escape. And so because of that, I think it's one of the best places to live. You can argue with me. I see your perspective. I get it. But I'm a proud Iowan, and I'll probably be here forever. And those people, and you've talked to those people, and so that's kind of where I come from. Gender and sexual identity play a large role also in painting the world that we see, or our own perspective that's unique to us. I identify as male, and I'm pretty stereotypical male, but I do have a sense of awareness about gender issues. So don't think I'm masculine, macho male who can't see other perspectives. That's not who I am. I am masculine, macho male, but I am aware of gender identities outside of mine and outside of the binary gender relationships that we have. Sexual identity, I am straight. I have a wife and a 2-year-old son named Cooper, and that pretty much means that I have not seen a lot of discrimination that goes along with gender and sexual identity. I've been privileged, I would say, in that department, in the sense that as a white male who's straight, I haven't had to deal with a lot of the discrimination that some people do, who aren't white, who are female, or who don't identify their gender in the binary code like I do. Also, being straight, I've never been discriminated against because of that. A lot of the things that I deal with come from a sense of privilege, but I am aware of that privilege and try to use it to benefit others. Lastly, health and well-being can play a large part in our culture or the way we view the world. I am fortunate in the sense that I do not have any disabilities that I would have to overcome. Again, one of those ideas that I know that I'm privileged in the sense that I don't have to worry about when I go into a building whether there will or won't be an elevator, because I can climb stairs. And I don't have to worry about those sorts of things. But again, as always, like, I'm aware of that. I'm aware that not everybody's views the world that way, and this is why we're shooting those videos. So after you get a chance to watch mine, sorry it was so long, please go ahead and submit your video on Canvas, because I want to know what makes you you, and I would like to experience the world through your eyes for a minute. Thank you.